My beloved brothers and sisters, in a statement of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he turned to his companions and he told them about a group of individuals who are going to be envied. Now, who is going to envy that group? Now, this hadith is classed Sahih by Shaykh Albani. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says that these slaves of Allah are going to be envied by the prophets and the martyrs. And the Sahaba that were around him, listen to the statement that they said. They asked him, who are those people so that we may love them? Who are those people so that we may love them? And the Prophet Muhammad said, he said, they are the people who love one another for the sake of Allah. Not for kinship, not for trade. Not for any of that reason except for the sake of Allah. And what an answer the Sahaba gave, or the question rather. Who are these people so that we may love them? And they're loving for the sake of Allah. Then the Prophet Muhammad said that they will not fear when the people fear. And they will not grieve when the people grieve. Then he recited the verse from Surah Yunus. ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, reciting from the Quran, he stated that ألا إن أولياء, that the awliya of Allah, لا خوف عليهم, they will not have any fear, ولا هم يحزنون, and they will not grieve, no sadness. So now, the purpose of today's talk, the goal of today's talk, is to ask ourselves, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stating that these people who are called the awliya of Allah, and He's saying that they will not have any fear, and they will not have any grieving, who are these people? What are their qualities? And can I be from them? Can I be from that group? The objective of the khutbah today is when we leave, inshaAllah, that we have the answer to that question. Can I be from the group? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in the surah. He says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ, those who have faith, those who believe, and those who have taqwa. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues and He says, لَهُمُ الْبُشْرَى, for them is a glad tiding, فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, in the life of this world, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ, and in the akhirah, in the hereafter. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this. He says, لَا تَبْدِيلَ لِكَلِمَاتِ اللَّهِ. He says that the promise of Allah cannot be changed. Whatever Allah has stated, the promise will not change. It will not be altered. The statement of Allah is a promise that will not be altered. And then Allah continues, says, ذَلِكَ هُمُ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ, that this is the ultimate victory. This is the ultimate success. Now, so let's ask ourselves again, how can I be this wali of Allah? How can I be from amongst the awliya? So everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, He is the Mawla, He is the caretaker, He is the protector of everything. Every single thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, all of creation, Allah is the one who sustains it all. And for the awliya of Allah, there is a special kind of status, a special kind of protection that they have from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These people, they are kind of in a perpetual type of goodness. And they are in a state of preferential treatment by Allah as their protector, as their ally, and as their helper. So to kind of understand the difference between the wali and the average person, you know, in Surah Al-Fatiha, we recite Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim every single day, every single salah. And when we try to analyze the meaning of the words, the names of Allah, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim, when the scholars analyze it, one of the meanings of it is that Ar-Rahman is a mercy that Allah has over all of His creation. It is a mercy that Allah has for all of His creation. This is why you see all of the creation of Allah being taken care of. Even if there are people that are against Allah, Allah is still taking care of them, still feeding them, still giving them sustenance and rizq. And Ar-Rahim is a special mercy reserved only for the believers. Allahu Akbar. Ar-Rahim is a special mercy reserved only for the believer. Similarly, there's a special status for those who are awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These people are in a perpetual state of goodness. What do I mean by this? They're always doing good, and the reason why is Allah is helping them to do good. Allah is causing them to continuously be in a state of good. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? He says, Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the wali of those who believe. Yukhrijuhum min al-dhulumati ila nur. That He is taking them from the darkness and putting them into the light. Allahu Akbar. For the wali of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying He is taking them from the darknesses and into the light. Interesting word Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has here. When He's talking about light, He says an-nur. He doesn't say anwar. He uses the singular term. When He's talking about the darkness, He uses dhulumat. He's using the plural. Why? Because there are so many types of dhulm out there. There's so many types of darkness out there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He takes the wali, the awliya, from this type of darkness and brings them into the light. Now, the first thing that we can get from this, to be in this group of the awliya, is what? Allah says, those who believe. Allahu waliyul ladhina amanu. Allah is the wali of those who believe. So now is the first thing that we're going to understand to get this status of awliya. Now, I want you to understand that this status of being a wali of Allah is a status that is attainable by any Muslim. And there are people out there who would like to gatekeep this status in order to bring confusion, doubt, and lead others astray. So we want to be aware of those type of people. So the first quality of being a wali of Allah is belief. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that He takes them out of the dhulumat. Now there are many types of darknesses that we mentioned. Some examples, the darkness of ignorance, where a person does not know, does not have any knowledge, and they're just running around in the dark, blind. Another example, the darkness of disobedience. A person may know, but disobeys Allah. And finally, the darkness of disbelief, where a person completely rejects Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For the people that are in the category of the awliya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He takes them from the dhulumat, whatever darkness that person may be in, whatever level of darkness that person may be in, and He brings them into the nur, the light. He gives them the light of knowledge. He gives them the light of iman. He gives them the light of taqwa. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does, He takes that person and He changes their doubt with conviction. And He changes their confusion with clarity. And He changes their sins with righteous deeds. Allahu Akbar. So this is the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something that we should all try to achieve. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains, and I already mentioned it, if you are paying attention, what are the characteristics of the awliya? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَلَا إِنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. They will have no fear, nor will they grieve. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. Those who are faithful and those who have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what do you need to have to be in this category? Iman and taqwa. Iman and taqwa. And the more stronger your iman is, the more stronger your taqwa is, the higher your status is going to be. So this is what it means to be a wali. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. My brothers and sisters, so the wali of Allah, we mentioned that they may be different degrees. The more iman you have, the more taqwa you have, the closer you are going to be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaykh Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, he says that people are in 3 categories. He says, number 1 is the one who wrongs himself. And this is the person who does sins and fails to enjoin what Allah has commanded him to do and fails to stay away from Allah, from what Allah has prohibited from doing. Then he says, better than them are the people that are moderate. There are people that are moderate. And they're the ones who do the obligatory deeds that Allah has enjoined upon them and stay away from the haram that Allah has prohibited them from. And then he said the last category is the one who draws close to Allah by doing whatever he can of the obligatory and extra, the recommended and extra. And you know, in the hadith Qudsi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says that Allah says that when a person starts to do more, starts to do nawafil, starts to do extra, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I love him until I become the hearing by which he hears, his sight by which he sees, his hands by which he strikes, his feet by which he walks. And when he asks of me, I give him. And when he asks me for protection, I protect him. So this is the person that reaches the highest status in terms of this category. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow all of us to internalize this and work hard and strive and become to that degree where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes us as wali. Allahumma ameen. I also want to ask that we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for one of our Musalli's mothers who has passed away, Maliha Amin Zai. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وأقيموا الصلاة